Hello and welcome to the Daily Millwall for Friday the 3rd of May 2024. Before we get into the first team news, we must start out with the game today at the Den. The under-21s finishing their season at home on a flourish, winning 5-0. I'm in the wrong place. Here we go, 5-0. With goals from Shamar Lawson in the 3rd minute, Tom Lee in the 8th minute, also Tom Lee in the 63rd minute, and Abdul Malik on the 34th and the 41st minute, which interestingly I think brings Tom Lee and Abdul Malik. They are both on 13 goals scored for the season each, so there's that. Tidy little game. Got very, very lucky. Wigan could have and should have probably scored 3 goals of their own, hit the post and wildly shot wide a couple of times. Got very lucky. Didn't have a keeper on the substitutes bench for some reason. I think Waddy might be injured. He was struggling at Peterborough. And there was a trialist who didn't really try, but that's kind of harsh on him. He's a under 18 lad. He's trying out for the under 21s because I think he's just been released by West Ham under 18. So I'll be highly surprised if we pick him up because he didn't look like he really cared or really gave a shit. But there you go. Millwall did end up winning 5-0 their final game of the season before they wait to see who they get in the playoffs. And we will do that now by looking at here's Millwall, 59 points. At the top of the table, done and dusted. There is a 3-way battle below them for the second place in the league to go through to the end of season tournament. Millwall are guaranteed a home game against whoever finishes runner-up in the northern section, and I'll tell you about that in a minute. But at the moment we've got QPR, Swansea and Bournemouth. 1 game to play, 1 point between them. And they're all vying for that second spot, which could be a team that we might play in a final. Because if we get through, then we play whoever wins the other tie, and that could be the team who wins this game. Now, let me go back to the northern section and show you. Now, this section has an extra team, so they play 30 games in a season, not 29. So they have had to play 1 extra league game compared to the southern teams. Does that help or hinder them? Don't know. It hinders the south, I think, because the games are still going on for the next 2 weeks, and we have to. When are we going to play this bloody semi-final and final? Could that hinder us in terms of our rustiness and match preparedness? I don't know. Maybe it'll help get some players fit and sharp in training. I don't know. But yeah, at the moment, obviously, Sheffield Wednesday have played all their games. They can't get second place. Barnsley as well. Barnsley got 2 games to go. They can only get 54, so they're not going to be there. It's between Sheffield United and Burnley, so both of those 2 teams are vying for first and second. Now, here's the thing. Birmingham have only got 1 game left, so they can only get 58 points. The goal difference isn't in their favour because Sheffield United's got a hell of a lot of goals more than them. So you would imagine it's Sheffield United to win, and we'll be playing Birmingham. So Millwall under 21s versus Birmingham under 21s at the Den sometime in a couple of weeks. And you would imagine Sheffield United, pretty good team. I think we played them last season. We played them in the final after we beat Hull. So again, might be another repeat of Millwall versus Sheffield United in the final. Now, where that takes place, I don't know. How does the decider get the tiebreaker? Because last season it was whichever team got the most points. But obviously there's an extra team in the north, so how's that going to work? I'm sure they're probably going to do points per game, but we'll wait and see now. So there you go. Now moving on to this from the southwarknews.co.uk. From Neil Harris. I've said what I've needed to say. Neil Harris questioned on staying at Millwall beyond next season. The Lions boss only signed a contract until June 2025, but has enjoyed a strong opening stint at the Den. Neil Harris has refused to be drawn into discussion on whether or not he will stay at Millwall beyond next season. The 46-year-old head coach arrived in February for his second stint in charge and has led the Lions to 23 points from 12 games to prevent relegation into League One. Harris's contract ends at the end of next season. He was questioned whether the short-term nature of his deal concerned him. Speaking at his final pre-match press conference of the season, the Lions head coach said, No, it doesn't concern me at all. I'm more than happy. It's not about me, it's about a football club. I'm here as part of the football club to help them move forward. The club comes first. I help the recruitment team recruit players that are good for the football club. And I know what a Millwall player looks like. I'm here to help for a period of time, short or medium term, and to lead the club into a much better place than when I walked into the building. And I'm not really going to enjoy doing that. I'm really going to enjoy doing that. I've loved it so far, and I'm going to carry on enjoying it. When he was pressed on the issue, Harris said, it's not a discussion for now. I've said what I've needed to say. So basically, he gave a manager speak, non-committal answer, and then they pressed him on it. And he said, look, stop talking about it, let's move on. The Lions boss also revealed that Bart Bialkowski would play no part in tomorrow's game away at Swansea City. Millwall announced the goalkeeper was leaving the Den after nearly 5 years last week, and he bid farewell to fans and teammates after a win over Plymouth Argyle in the final game, home game of the season. Harris said, one thing I want to make clear, Bart won't be involved this weekend, hence why we put the statement out last weekend for his last game. Bart might travel the group, but he's not going to be involved from the start or off the bench this weekend. The news means Bart Bialkowski will end his Lions career with 169 appearances, with his final outing coming in December's 1-1 draw with Sunderland. Okay, that's interesting. I heard earlier today that I haven't read the story, but I saw the headline that he wouldn't be involved in the game. I assume that they'll let him go early because obviously I think his family's in Spain already or something like that. For me, they let him go early, but that's kind of weird then. So he's not going to be on the bench. So is he injured or he's just like Harris was saying, like he wants to look at players that will be here next season. So that means Bart's out of the way. So that might be an indicator of. So what are you going to do with the loan players then? You're going to drop them? Are they all going to be left at home, or like? I think Alan Campbell's already gone back. I don't think he's training at Millwall anymore. So what's going on there? Yeah, it'd be very interesting to see. Like I said, Harris has said like he wants to win this game. It matters to him. Like, where's he going to take this seriously? A lot of fans are. We want to look at the youth players in a. It's an end of season game. It's competitive. It's a real championship game, but it's not as important as it was a month ago. It's still a championship game, so we want to see some of these youngsters play and see how good they are, see if they're any good. But we'll see. Like, we've got 5 subs these days in this day and age, so you would think maybe you could use all 5 subs, and we'll see some of them. But there you go. I don't know. Maybe we might see Malachi because he wasn't involved in the under-21s today. He was at the ground. I see him in his flip-flops, but he wasn't involved in the squad. So you imagine maybe we might see him. He's back from his loan at Sutton now, so that might be an option. But like I said, it's interesting to see what happens, and that might be an omen for the future if we don't see any youngsters. And like, if we don't see them tomorrow, when are we going to see them? In pre-season, and then they're going to go out on loan or go away to get first team football somewhere else. Reports that Alex Mitchell might be leaving because he's got the bug. He's been playing week in and week out for Lincoln City, and we would prefer to do that than come back here and just sit on his arse on the bench, or not even make the bench, depending if Hutch gets re-signed or what happens with Harding. So, don't know how it's going to go. Now, moving on to this, also from the southernnews.co.uk, attacking flair, creativity and one-on-one ability. Neil Harris drops more hints on what type of players he wants to bring in to Millwall this summer. Plenty of attention will turn to the transfer window once the final round of championship fixtures have been completed tomorrow. but it should have already been there. We've got a guy that's his job. He should have been doing that since the last window closed. Am I wrong? Neil Harris said he wants to add some stardust to Millwall as he prepares to turn all of his attention to the transfer window. Just one game awaits the Lions before the end of the season with a trip to Swansea City, the final assignment of a long campaign. The Lions could finish as high as 13th, but could also realistically drop to 18th, depending on what happens on the final day of the Championship. Harris's last pre-match press conference of the season was dominated not by the upcoming game itself, but by the issue of transfer window and what identity he had in mind for Millwall going forward. The Lions boss told reporters, thought process when it comes to recruitment is yes, we need to try and evolve as a football club, but you can't do it straight away. And ultimately, what is this football club? What is its values? What does it stand for? And I've got a clear identity with me as the head coach, and that's the Millwall way of doing it. We have to try and put a stamp on it and a modern thought process as well. And ultimately, what we do need is to add in the summer, we need to have a little bit more attacking flair at the top end of the pitch. We have the reliability and defensive structure, maybe. We need a little bit more creativity and 1v1 ability in certain areas of the pitch, which would certainly help us next year. Asked what Millwall would need to eventually challenge for promotion, he said, that's the stardust you need to sprinkle in modern day football, and I'm fully aware of it. And that's what the club has tried to do since the first year we got to the Championship. My first season back in the Championship, after we got out of League One, we got 72 points. We missed out by 2 points to get in the playoffs, and then we tried to go with sprinkle and didn't quite get there. We went backwards. And it's hard trying to find that next level. We have to try and find that ability to be Millwall. And you can't lose your core values. It's core values that this club stands for, and core values that the fans want to see. And when the chips are down and you don't win 4 games, you have to go back to those core values, because that's what Millwall Football Club is. Do we need 3 or 4 players in the top half of the pitch in the attacking positions that can give us that sparkle, brightness, and that modern feel to the game? Of course we do. But we need to find them, and we have to be able to afford them. That sounds very interesting. It also sounds a damning indictment of the players currently here, in terms of they don't have that. So, of the permanent players, Bradshaw, obviously we know he's a bit of a workhorse, he runs around a lot. He doesn't have it. Nisbet was supposed to have it. He's supposed to be a good finisher, but he doesn't have it. Imaku doesn't have it. S.A.'s got a bit of it. He can pick a pass out. Watmore, again, I think a lot of people getting on Watmore's back. I think Watmore's not that bad. He's certainly got vision, and he's got the kind of, a bit like Jed Wallace, the get up and go. But obviously we know he can't do 90 minutes because of the past injuries that he's had. So, interesting. I say interesting on the face of it, and interesting reading between the lines. And yeah, like I said, it's not only it's interesting to see what team he'll put out tomorrow and what substitutions he make. Be interesting to see the signings that get made in the summer, and whose are they? Are they from Aldo or are they from Neil Harris? We'll see. We will see. Now I'm moving on to this from the LondonNewsOnline.co.uk, the South London Press's online website. Millwall will need to be patient as Tottenham loan hit defender works out future plans. Neil Harris has talked about Millwall needing to show patience this summer as the lone hit defender Japhet Tanganga mulls over his future plans. The 25-year-old centre-back joined the Lions from Tottenham in the January transfer window and has played every minute in the Championship since the middle of February. Tanganga scored the first goal after Harris returned to SC16 as Millwall coach, heading home at the opener in a 2-1 win at Southampton, as well as netting in the 1-0 victory over Birmingham in March. The former England under-21 international, who did not play a minute at Augsburg in the first half of the campaign, is out of contract this summer, but Spurs have an option to activate an extra 12 months. So he's out of contract this summer. That's interesting. What's the option to activate an extra 12 months? So, well, I'm not being funny, but Daniel Levy, we know what he's like. It wouldn't surprise me if he activates the 12 months and then sells him to and then we buy him for like a decent chunk of money when we could have got him for free. What is the option? Like they can just do it if they want to do it, or I don't know. Depends, doesn't it? A section of Millwall supporters were chanting to Tanganga that they wanted him to stay when the players did a lap of appreciation after their win against Plymouth Argyle on Saturday, their final home fixture of the campaign. Harris told the South London Press, Japhet has started every game for me, so he's obviously going to be fantastically well. You have to be very careful and respectful when you talk about loan players who are contracted to other football clubs. Ultimately, Jaff is contracted to Spurs, and they have a relationship and decisions that they have to got to make between themselves as to where Japhet's future lies. Then you've got Japhet's thought process. What does he want to do? He's a young man who has a loan period. He's been abroad in Germany. Where does he see his future lying? Then for us as well, it's about the balance of the squad, and Jaff's done extremely well. I'm a firm believer when players do well on loan, there's hope you work with them again in the future. I can name players I've worked with in the past, just for example, guys who are with us now, Jake and Sav, they come at the same time as Jed Wallace. They were all loans, but we made permanent. Like with some of the other guys, we have to be maybe patient with the time they take to make their decision, clubs and individuals. I think we'll be very close to those conversations with their clubs. Harris was nominated for April's Championship Manager of the Month award. The Lions started that period back-to-back losses to Rotherham and Huddersfield, but then posted 4 successive victories, including a 1-0 den triumph over Leicester City, who have since sealed the championship. And Neil Harris did not win that award because Fox's manager Enzo Maresco won the award. So there you go. Yeah, interesting. So obviously waiting to see what happens. So basically, if he goes to Tottenham and said, look, please don't activate an extra 12 months. Because I think they get compensation for him, don't they? Anyway, either way, because he was with them as a junior. Does that still count? Well, he's just 25, but he came through their academy. Or I think he's over age now, isn't he? So I don't think that counts. So yeah, wait and see. But like I said, it's probably they're going to activate the 12 months and then immediately try and sell him. I'm going to guess. But we'll wait and see, because I don't think they're going to let him leave for free if that's an option. Not, with Daniel Levy there. And maybe this is what's affecting the Sean Hutchinson deal. If you got Japhet Tanganga, do you need Sean Hutchinson? Also, if Sean Hutchinson, that's not the only thing that's probably affecting him. Like, he's 33 years old, and he's got a bad injury record. But I mean, if we do have a genuine, sincere chance of maybe signing Japhet Tanganga, that isn't at 0%, that isn't dead. If there is still a bit of a chance, then you've probably got to ride it until you can. If that means you tell Sean Hutchinson he's got to wait until like literally the day his contract is about to run out before we offer him a new one, like, it is what it is. Like, what can you do? Maybe we let it run out and then we tell him, look, we're going to have a contract for you the day if this deal doesn't run if this deal doesn't work out with Tanganga. So if the Tanganga situation falls through and he doesn't come to Millwall, if he stays at Spurs, if he goes somewhere else, as soon as that happens, then we can offer you this deal. Maybe, but then will Sean Hutchinson wait for that to happen? I don't know. We'll see. Now, moving on to this. From londonnewsonline.co.uk, South London Press's online website. They've got an in-depth interview with Bart. Probably the last chance they're going to get to speak to him because he's off. So in-depth with Bart Bialkowski on Millwall career, his exit this summer, and why a win over Charlton is his favourite memory. Bart Bialkowski has described his farewell from Millwall as mind-blowing. With Saturday's 1-0 win over Plymouth Argyle, his final den appearance as a Lions player. Well, he didn't appear, did he? He was on the substitutes bench, but I know what you mean. The Championship club confirmed a week ago that 36-year-old goalkeeper, who won back-to-back Player of the Year awards in SC16, will be leaving when his contract expires at the end of June. In reality, Bialkowski's final employment will be tomorrow's trip to Swansea, which will wrap up in the 22-23 campaign. Well, we've just heard from Neil Harris in his press conference that Bart won't be involved. He might travel with the squad, but he won't be involved. He was given a rapturous reception when he took the microphone post-match last weekend. I'm emotional still, a bit better than I was on Friday and Saturday, said Bialkowski when he sat down with the South London press at the Den on Tuesday morning. I have mixed emotions because it was something else. I'm off to a new life and a new chapter, whatever I do. I've had an amazing 5 years at the club. On Saturday, I was literally speechless. The emotions took over, and I couldn't really think clearly about what to say. The send-off I received was mind-blowing. That memory is going to stick with me for the rest of my life. Head coach Neil Harris, who was bossing Bialkowski, was signed from Ipswich in 2019, played a part in making sure that the popular stopper got a proper send-off by his impeding exit being made public. It was the gaffer who spoke to me on Friday morning, said Bialkowski. He asked if I was okay with the club announcing it to give me a chance for the fans to know exactly what was happening to me and say goodbye. The gaffer said to me that they weren't going to renew my contract. I've expected that. Also, at the moment, I don't know if I'm going to carry on playing or not. We'll see. I'm going to give myself a month or two to think about it. If I want to carry on playing, I probably will. I've got different plans and different ideas. Most likely, I'm going to stay out of football. So it could be the last time. That Bialkowski follows his pre-match routine: right boot on first, then the left glove. When he steps onto the pitch, which is always right leg first. I don't know why I've done that since I remember, said Bialkowski. It's silly, but it's a habit. I don't think if I don't do it, I might start thinking I didn't do it and it's going to affect my game. I've never forgotten to do it. I pray for a few seconds as well. Bialkowski has won 7 Player of the Year awards, 5 at Ipswich and 2 with the Lions, and he won the Championship Golden Gloves in 2019-20, sharing it with Brentford's David Raya, the pair recording 16 clean sheets each. Asked if that season was his Millwall highlight, he said, probably the second season was also good for me. That first year I was doing well and the team was doing well. I regret the break during COVID because we were flying. We beat Forest 3-0, and after the game we were looking at each other thinking, boys, we got a chance. Then COVID hit and we came back and it just wasn't the same. The Den was empty and we had a great record in the Den, and that really affected us. What rankles for Bialkowski is the way Millwall imploded on the final day of last season. Even though I wasn't involved that much, I truly believed if we got to the playoffs, then we were going to win it, he said. That would be the third time that I've been in the playoffs, and I'd also said it would be the third time lucky. And that was my biggest disappointment in the Millwall show. The last game of the season, I still don't know what happened really. I was so nervous on the bench. I was trying to get involved, get the crowd going. It was something that happened, and we shouldn't have lost. Bialkowski has spent the past decade at 2 clubs. His first English club was Southampton, signing from Gornik Zabrze in 2006. He clocked up just 22 appearances for the Saints in 6 years. I had injuries there, here and there, and I didn't play a lot. The turning point was leaving and going to Notts County in League One, said Bialkowski, who featured 93 times in the next 2 seasons. Before the last 2 years I've been playing pretty much in everything. I've had that stability. It's completely different than sitting on the bench, not being out there helping the boys. There are always things that you could have done differently, but I'm just going to look back on my career with great pride of what I achieved, because it's not easy. I've never regretted anything in life, but I'd rather be optimistic than pessimistic. What's gone is gone, and you cannot change it. Time to hit Bialkowski with a curveball. A full Den or a full Pullman Road, which has got the better atmosphere? I don't think you can compare it. They're just different and amazing at the same time. I've loved both places, so I'm not going to pick one. I've loved my time at both clubs, and I love both set of fans. Bialkowski is quick to pick his favourite moment in his 169 games as a Millwall player. I'm just going to keep saying the Charlton game at home, he said. It was amazing. I loved it. A last-minute winner from Big Smudge. The atmosphere and the scenes after the game when we scored, incredible. We all know what that game means for everyone. Also, that first game after COVID with the fans, QPR away, that was good because we had played so long without them there. Even though we played it away, it was incredible. Bialkowski's move to Millwall nearly did not happen. A fee was agreed with Ipswich, but then the move collapsed before being pulled back on track at the end of July. Initially, a loan that was made permanent in January. The summer leading to my arrival was mad, said Bialkowski. I spoke to Neil, did my medicals, failed my medicals, and came back to Ipswich. I did a full pre-season with Ipswich. Then the loan agreement came back on. I arrived at the hotel, but there was this kind of swap deal with Tom Elliott. I was waiting for him to do his medical at Ipswich, and he failed. I was thinking, surely not again, but it got signed for me to come. Frank started in goal in the first game of the season, got injured, and I played well, and he was out for a longer period of time, and I got back to my best football. I only signed for another year and a half in January. When I signed on loan, my family was still living in Ipswich, because we thought there's no point moving to London. The kids are settled, and we don't know what's going to happen next summer or so. We thought it was just a year and a half deal, and the family have stayed in Ipswich. The 5 years has gone so quickly. Wherever I've been, I've managed to do well on the pitch and off the pitch. I've never been a player who's changed clubs a lot. Bialkowski will be cast into the role of spectator as Millwall embark on their next chapter under Harris, who's impressively and adeptly pulled them clear of the relegation danger. "Oh, Neil signed me and he's such a great guy," said Bialkowski. "He's very likeable. He knows what the club is about and what the fans need. After Joe Edwards left, that was the best thing that happened to Millwall Football Club. It was probably the transfer of the season there, because I couldn't really see a green light before he came in. I thought it was going to be tough to stay up, but to be honest, I just couldn't see it. And Neil came in and he lifted everyone up. All of a sudden, everyone was buzzing and enjoying it again, and you could see that fire in everyone's eyes on a daily basis. And the points we've won since Neil's come in probably put us top of the table. Unbelievable. This is going to have a whole summer to recruit players with the help of other people at the club. I'm very optimistic. I can see Millwall doing well next season. I'm going to watch it, I'm going to follow it, and I'm going to support this amazing football club." There you go. Thank you very much, Bart Bialkowski. Fantastic stuff there. True gent. There you go. Now, tomorrow, without Bart, away at Swansea, last game of the season. It matters and it doesn't matter. Oxymoron. Schrodinger's match. It matters, but it doesn't matter at the same time. So, this is the historical record of matches between Swansea and Millwall, starting with Swansea Town in 1921. This is from 11v11.com. As you can see, pretty good record there in the 1920s. For some reason that fell apart in the late 1920s, 1929, 1930. We had a run of 6 matches in a row where we lost quite heavily as well, 4-1, 3-1, 4-0. But then since then, we haven't played them that many times. We only go from here, that's the last game, all the way up to 1921, so not that many games in 100 years. You can see here, so 1948 we played them, lost. Then there's a gap of 22 years until we played them again in 1966. We won that one, that was 2-0. Then the last time, then after that, it was, 19 years when we played them again. They changed the bloody name to Swansea City. It was that much. And that was in League Division 3, and we won that one 2-1. So I think that's probably because they got relegated, and then they probably got back out of the league. So we didn't play them that many times. Then again in 1998. So what's that? That's 13 years, a gap of 13 years till we play them again, and that's in the FA Cup. So that they were probably in the higher league and we were in the lower league. They beat us 3-0. They also beat us in the League Cup. We didn't play them again in the league till 2001. So from 1985 to 2001, what's that? 26 years between playing between league matches, and that turned out to be a draw. So, and you can see most recently since 2001, this was that 23 years, a bit of a mixed bag. The results are random. They go here, there, and everywhere. Not too many goals scored, not too many clean sheets. Win, draw, loss, win, loss, draw. Last 2 games have been draws. Last time we won there was 2019. That was a 1-0 win. And before that, it was in 2008. It was a 2-1 win. So, yeah. So we are on a 3-game winless run at the moment. But it is a game that we could win. It's not beyond the realms of possibility. Not like some fixtures where it's just it's just a sea of red that we lose all the time. So there you go, mixed bag over the years, travelling away to Swansea. Now, let's move on to this from whoscored.com. This is the last 6 matches. You can see we've lost 2, drawn 3, and won 1. So, again, does skew slightly away. But in the 6 matches, they've scored 6 goals, we've scored 5. But interestingly, 6 yellow cards for them, 13 for us. So just see that the home crowd do influence the referee a little bit. And do you remember the mascot, their Swan mascot? For some reason, attacking Millwall's mascot. When did mascots go to away games? Oh, that was a weird one, but yeah, do you remember all that stuff? That was a laugh, wasn't it? Probably not for the poor geezer in their costume, but hey ho. So you can see here, last time out 2-2. Before that 0-0, and not many clean sheets. 2 clean sheets for them, 2 clean sheets for us. 1 in the 0-0 and 2 others in 1-0 wins for both teams. If we go down, look at the table as it stands now. Obviously, we can go above them. We could also, if we go above them, but there's 2 teams between us. They're 16th, we're 16th. They're 13th. There's Watford and Sunderland in between us. So if we do win tomorrow, we will go above Swansea, but we might not go above Watford and Sunderland. So we will go up by at least 1 place if we win. Yeah, you can see here, 15 wins for them, 12 draws, 18 defeats. So the difference between the 2 teams is that they've drawn an extra game that we lost. So that's the 1 point difference. Minus 11 goal difference for us. 44 goals conceded. Goals scored. 55 goals conceded. But they've conceded 64. That is a hell of a lot. But scoring 59, which gives them minus 5 goal difference. If we look at shall we look at the home table? So they've only won 8 games at home all season. If you look at the form over here, 4 of them have been in the last 6 games. So what were they doing before then? Bloody hell. So they have picked up at home of late. And in terms of away form, Millwall's away form, not helped by the 3 losses in Yorkshire that you can see on the coloured chart there. Yes, not good, is it? Form guide. Obviously, we know we're in form, but they're in form as well. They're unbeaten in 4. We're unbeaten in 4. But we've won 4 in a row. They've drew their last game, 2-2 away at Norwich, which isn't a bad draw in all things said and done. Okay. If we scroll down, you can see those games. Swansea's the last 6 home games, Millwall's the last 6 away games. If we start off with Swansea, you can see 3 clean sheets in those 6 games. Against Cardiff, against Stoke and against Rotherham. The only 1 game they failed to score, that was against QPR. So there you go. And in terms of Millwall's away form, well, we all know about that, don't we? The 3 defeats in Yorkshire, very weird. The rhubarb triangle, did we get like the Bermuda Triangle, the rhubarb triangle? We get discombobulated by the rhubarb triangle, and it affects our ability to win football games. But we won away at Sunderland in our last game, and we kept a clean sheet, which is the first in 5. You can see here it's the only clean sheet in the last 6 away games, and that was our win. Before that, the previous win was a 2-1 win at Southampton. So how's it gonna go tomorrow? Do we keep the clean sheet, or do we score the 2 goals to win the game? Here's the strengths and weaknesses of both teams, the styles, and the forecast. I'm not going to read that. I want to read this out on the right hand side. Match facts. There have been under 2.5 goals scored in 9 of Mill's last 11 games. Yes. Mill won their last 4 matches. Yeah. Swansea have seen over 2.5 goals scored in the last 3 matches against Millwall in all competitions. Let's read that again. Swansea have seen over 2.5 goals scored. I think that's between both teams, isn't it? In their last 3 matches against Millwall in all competitions. So that includes games at the Den as well, because obviously the last time we played them, second last time we played them at Swansea was a 0-0. Right, let's go on to prediction then. Let's crack on. Here we go. Prediction from WhoScored.com. Here we go. A second half Matt Grimes penalty proved enough to seal a point on the road against playoff contenders Norwich last weekend in a respectable 2-2 away draw. The Welsh club are ending the year in a strong vein of form, and they head into this clash with Millwall with 10 points to show from their last 4 championship outings. Millwall are also roaring over the finish line of the 23-24 season. Neil Harris's side kept their winning streak going in London last time over a late Jake Cooper goal, proving enough to see off the threat of relegation threatened Plymouth. Saturday's visitors won 4 league games on the spin ahead of their visit to Swansea.com Stadium, and they predict Swansea 1, Millwall 1. So a draw, a 1-1 draw. Okay, now let's move on to prediction from Sportsmole, and they say Swansea City 1, Millwall 1. Both sides will end in the final day with plenty of confidence thanks to their recent improvements and the desire to end on the win and wrap up 13th spot. And we cannot quite pick a winner as a result, instead opting for a low scoring draw between 2 informed teams. So there you go. Sportsmole got a very comprehensive preview here. A lot to say. I'm not going to read through all that. In terms of my prediction, I think it's going to be a 2-2 draw. 2-2, yeah. I think it's going to be one of those games where you're going to get a weird scoreline. But I'm going to go with 2-2. Because I think they're going to try. They're going to try to score. They're going to make an effort to score, and I think we have to respond and do the same. So 2-2. And on that note, thank you for watching, and goodbye.